So
Super.
do you want to start by just saying, what's your full name, where you're from, and how you found me, and why you chose to come to the first ever thing that you came to, and what was that?
I'm Becky, and I live in Sturchley in South Birmingham in the UK. And I think I bumped into Dion about 8 months ago at a local market, where Dion was doing massages, and then we got chatting about yoga nidra. And I'd been to a yoga nidra before, a couple of times, and I thought, well, I'll give Dion's a go. And it felt very different as soon as I walked in with Dion, in a really positive way. And so the first one I did was a yoga nidra, and then I've been back and done a couple since, with Dion as well. I really enjoyed the first yoga nidra that we did, and then I went back for a second time, and both were at the Buddhist Centre in Moseley. And then I went back a third time with my sister, and that was for a whole day session, and that was about setting your aspirations for the coming year. And that was a really interactive and session, and we wrote lots of notes, and it really got you to cement your thoughts for the year, which was a really lovely way of kind of
What year
setting.
was that?
And it was at the start of this year in 2020.
So was that the restorative yoga workshop as well?
Yes, it was. Yeah, yeah.
It was a combination of the two, wasn't it? It was yoga nidra soundscape and restorative yoga combined.
Yes, it was a combination of the two, and we did a lot of different poses where you almost cocooned us and cushioned us in blankets and cushions and mats, and made us feel really safe, and then played instruments around us. So it was really relaxing, but it also kind of I felt a little bit like a caterpillar that had been all cocooned throughout the day, and then we set all our intentions for the year, and it was really lovely. And you really worked with working with our bodies as well. So I have a problem with my back, but you made me feel really relaxed about that, and then made sure we had enough cushioning and padding in the right areas to make sure that everybody felt like they were being safe and looked after as well.
Oh, thank you. I remember that I think it was at the beginning of that workshop, and you mentioned about one of the yoga nidras that you'd been to, that whether it was that night or the night after, you had this amazing dream. I think it brought one of your ancestors to you. I'm not quite sure exactly, but I also remember that there was some like a light bulb moment of an idea of like a career idea of what your future could be if you ran with this idea or something like that. Do you mind talking about that a bit? Is that okay?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. After the second yoga nidra that I did with you, I went home, felt really relaxed and really lovely. And then that night I had a dream. Then I woke up and I dreamt about my grandpa, and who passed away about 11, 12 years ago. And in the dream, I was sat with my sister, and grandpa was showing us how to play a board game. And the vision of the dream was so vivid that I remembered the board game, and I wrote it all down. It was really interesting, but also it was a really lovely thing to do. And I think it was almost, I think a part of my creativity had been kind of unlocked during the yoga nidra, and then I'd had this dream, which then had kind of created something, which was a really beautiful experience, but quite a strange experience as well. But a very positive one. Yeah, it was really lovely.
Do you think that the board game, do you think it symbolizes something within parts of your life, or do you think the board game itself is an idea that you should create?
To be honest, I think you'd get a different you'd get a different answer from me depending on what mood I was in, I'm afraid. So I think it could be either. But it's something that I'm wanting to pursue, and it's something that I want to explore to see if this can be made into a real thing rather than the paperboard game that I made. Because I think it works, which is a bit strange to have dreamt something and then it works. And I suppose we'll see where that goes with it. But I will definitely keep you posted.
Yes, yes, please do.
I'm really grateful for that experience, but also whatever happens with it, I'm okay with that. That's fine, because it was a really interesting experience to dream something after the yoga nidra and then be able to play that thing.
And lastly, can you actually remember what the yoga nidra itself was about? Because I can't. I can't remember which one it was.
It was around going climbing on the back of this is probably my interpretation because it's probably what I remembered, but it was around climbing on the back of a winged animal and then soaring through the sky. And that will probably be my interpretation, because in my head, as I'm explaining this, it was a giant eagle, but maybe you didn't say it was a giant eagle. I can't remember that bit, but I definitely in my head got on a giant eagle and soared off. And I'm not sure what actually you asked us to remember, but that's what I remember from it.
Oh, thank you. That's the autumn one. That takes me back now. I know it's one of the autumn ones I've created. And I don't actually say eagle because I like everybody to, because we're scared of some animals and we're not scared of other animals. And we also have our spirit animal, and everybody's is different. So I didn't actually say which animal, but yeah, you go down like a water hole and come out the other end into this magical land. And I do say that an animal comes along, a flying animal, and it's would you like to take a ride? Do you want to go on it? So it gives people the choice as well, just in case they're scared of heights. So yeah, that eagle, again, that's something to do with you, something to do with maybe looking into maybe that is your spirit animal. That's why you chose that. That's why that came to you. But yes, it's an autumn one. So just in case you you want to know, so you can remember, so that you can experience that again. Yeah, you can remember it's one of the autumn ones.
Fab. Yeah, do remember now. I think we went down. Also, this might be my imagining of it as well. I think we went down a plug hole, and then came out into a magical land. But equally, you might not have said that either. But in my head, it was a plug hole. I don't know.
Yeah, it was an empty swimming pool. Yeah. Where you were eventually you were a leaf. You were particles of a leaf, and you went down into this empty swimming pool, and the wind of the that was just around at the time whirled you into a whirlwind that allow all the leaves to be crushed down the whole of this empty swimming pool and come out the other end. That was it.
Okay. Yeah, this is ringing a bell now.
So what do you say is like the thing you most like about, or the things you take away, even though you've taken away quite a lot through working with me, if you were actually speaking to other people, what would you say to them in reference to working with me or going forward? What would you like to get going forward yourself?
Feeling more relaxed, and also more energized than when I went into the sessions. I think as well that it's a really lovely space that's created by you, and I think that it's very relaxed, a very relaxed space, and it's a very friendly space as well. And I think that there's a lovely sense of community within the session. So I'd like to just carry on. The cat's made an appearance. I'd like to carry on, seeing what I'll get out of it in the future with just a really open mind, and
That
Yeah.
is the best way to go into something, not just a session of yoga nidra, but anything in life, because it allows you to then receive what's meant for you. So maybe that's the message we should give to others too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Go with an open mind and see what happens. I think you'll be surprised.
I would like to thank you so much for doing this, Becky. Thank you.
Sorry, the cat made an appearance.
Oh, they always do. They like to get into things, don't they? They're the curious beings.